Hello everyone! Welcome to the Qualifier results reveal and the Mappool showcase for the round of 16 for the OSA Philippines Nationals Mania 4K/7K division. I'm Silabas Kyles, who is going to be one of the people speaking for this showcase. And alongside with me is going to be, I'm gonna let them say their names themselves.
This is Sergio85 in the booth.
I'm Yuki no Meng.
Yes, hello, this is Lop.
Hi, I'm Itawachi.
And I'm Lasereed in the booth as well. The final one, at least.
Wow, for the first time, kada isa-isa talaga tayo nag-introduce now. Like we're introducing ourselves one by one, which is something that we normally don't do.
Present.
Yeah, it sounds like we're doing a freaking attendance roll call for a classroom.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, how's everything? How's the past weekend for you guys?
Well, grabe. Honestly, a lot happened talaga on my end. Though, I will say, the results definitely made up for a lot of it because ang daming mga unexpected na nangyari. And I think lahat naman kayo dito, lalo na tayong tatlo nila Arj at ni Sir, like, all three of us, binabantay namin yung qualifiers results as they were happening, di ba?
Oo, like, may ano kami, like, we've been monitoring all of the results as they come in, and like, ilang beses na titingnan, like, there was a certain person na we did not expect baka mag-qualify. Tapos turns out they miss out just barely. Mayroon naman na unexpected na, oh, siya pala number 1 seed. We didn't think about it. Or yung mga ganun. And honestly, no, I think we should stop stalling and actually show the results to the people waiting for them.
I'm gonna stall it one more time, excuse me. Just gonna give a shout out to 53 people watching the qualifiers. I don't think we've had this many people watch the qualifier stream.
Oh yeah, actually the first
That's actually a lot.
huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for coming. Like the map pullers here, the mappers, the hosts, everyone involved, referees.
Oy, teka lang. Hindi pa to yung final stream of the tournament. Para namamaalam ka na.
Parang grand
Ewan ko
finals
pre.
yung
Alam nyo,
introduction mo? Ano ba yan?
ewan ko rin eh. Ewan ko talaga, may habit talaga ako kanyan. Pero sige, ngayon, kasi di ba before, 4K yung inuna natin. Ibahin naman natin ngayon, di ba?
Yeah, I will be finally able to say this. We will be doing the 7K results reveal first for the purpose of viewer retention.
That's so true. At saka, I'm
Guys,
sorry.
he said the word! He said the word!
I'm-
He said the word!
Yes.
He said
I'm
the
sorry.
thing.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys and to break the fourth wall. But no, there is gonna be no Gcash giveaway from me, okay? Walang Gcash dahil lang napakaraming viewers dito. O sige, enough stalling I guess.
Shoutouts po kay Juan de la Cruz, ang gwapo-gwapo po ninyo. Yung mga ganun ba? Ganun ba
Oh,
na energy?
ganun,
Yung ano?
ganun yung energy. Pero ngayon, dumako na tayo sa seed reveal, I
Wow,
guess.
dumako!
Bakit?
Dumako!
Bakit? May mali ba doon?
Lalim ah.
Tama
Para
naman yun.
makata ba ngayon? Puro mga makata ba tayo ngayon?
Oy, bakit? Oy, bakit?
Sige na. Let's
Sige,
go,
sige,
let's
sige.
go.
May jeep eh. O yan, o. Di ba may jeep? Kaya dapat magtatagalog talaga tayo kahit marami. So, ayan. I bet,
So sisilimulan natin sa ikalabing pito na
Yeah.
lugar. Ay, what's place?
The
Look,
let's be a bit serious. Okay, so our 17th seeded player here is Phantom Lily. Fun fact about the 7K qualifiers: 19 people registered, only 17 played, and the top 16 qualify. So unfortunately for Phantom Lily, they will be missing out to be part of the bracket stage, and also across the board actually performing the last performing unfortunately the worst amongst the entire roster here.
Hmm. Unfortunate. Maybe next time, maybe next year, they could qualify.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they didn't really score too bad relative to their skill level. May like kung lalaro pa to next year, I think they should be fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, now to the people who are actually going to be part of the bracket stage. We're gonna start with seed number 16, and this guy. Welcome back to the competitive scene. MWC 7K 2016 Team PHP member K101895.
Heard of this player like quite some time. I wondered where he was. And I guess they're back to play in the host Philippines Nationals.
Well, here's the one thing about this person. Especially for the early game part of the tournament, they might be a bit of a threat, especially accuracy wise for the Rise. Like the qualifier scores aren't really exactly indicative of K's skill set, at least for now. But once we get to the round of 16 pools, which are expected to be a bit easier than the qualifiers, they may be able to perform a bit better. Now let's move on to the next player. We have Lordy here, another regular here in the PH Nationals. Actually, just performing like just above what we saw from K here.
Yeah.
And well, I guess you don't already know this guy.
I mean, a good amount of mania players from the Philippines know this guy. Used to be playing 4T quite a bit, but now he has transferred to 7T, and now he's gonna start his tournament debut in 7T in the host Philippines Nationals.
Looking at the data for Lordy right here, like Lordy is basically the all-rounder based on the data.
Yeah.
On the stronger side, he is more oriented on Rice, especially the score in the prototype. The prototype having 11th place. Am I seeing that correctly? Wait, am I seeing it?
No, it's
No,
15th.
15th. Oh my eyes,
Yeah.
my eyes. Yeah, yeah, it seems like he has a really good score. Also in Viridian City. Like, don't get me wrong, like also a really good score for Viridian City at number 13 in LN. Not bad. Actually a pretty good score. Seeing here it's 916k. So
Alright, now let's go to the next person in the list. Our number 14 seeded player is someone from the Osu Jam group here. I mean, you could already tell from the avatar, yung uod.
Yeah,
Pero
the,
really-
yeah, I remember the worm profile pictures.
yeah, the collab. Like,
Yeah. Overall pretty consistent as well. A pretty notable score here from Final Flash Flight. And also this guy might be a threat as well on the LNs, especially in the early game. But for the most part, like this guy is very, very consistent.
Actually, seeing here right now, it's more on Rice actually, but the LN is also LN and hybrid wise, yeah. It was just the score for Viridian City or the LN coordination part that really kind of pulled it. But yeah, solid scores for Jansi.
Alright, up next is someone from another familiar name to those who play 4K. We have Gregory here, or also known as the Meme Thief.
that is a very familiar player.
Very
Uh,
familiar.
He's been.
Yeah.
I was about to say he's been playing 7T for quite some time, so of course he's gonna be trying out for the nationals here.
Well, yeah, Gregory was like initially he was a 4K main, like getting good scores back then. I think it was like 3 years ago, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, by 2021, he became like a regular in 7K PH Nationals, which is strange, but like really good shift. I like that.
Yeah, he's been
Shifting
playing for
from
quite
4 to
some time.
7, that's really good.
Another
Also,
very
not to mention, Rice 1 and am I seeing this right? Rice 1 and Stage 1 and Stage 4 are his greatest scores right here, being at number 12 and number 11. Actually, let's include Stage 5, which was 900k or 10th on
939.
the
Oh, 916k, yeah.
916k. Yeah,
At
am I
at,
seeing it
at
right?
place among the people who qualified with their scores. Actually, again, overall pretty consistent here. Maybe the one thing that people might take note of from Gregory is the more on the rice really, but at least on the like that's practically the theme for a lot of the players, especially in the bottom half of the 7K standings here, is that a lot of them are really well rounded. And then suddenly you'll see like once you get like the upper half, then we're gonna see like some of these bombshell scores that come every now and then. Now up next, our number 12 seed is Euripe, another person from the O2 Jam community, if I am not mistaken. I think I remember them mentioning it during their registrations. And you're already seeing Beethoven Virus.
Yeah, number 8 in Beethoven
Number
Virus.
8 in
940,
Beethoven.
yeah, 947,000. Just a fun fact that of all the qualifiers, sets here, of all the qualifier charts in the 7K pool, is that stage 4 actually has the lowest is the lowest scoring qualifier set. Shoutouts to Shadow Kun. Nice
The
job.
average Shadow Gun
Nice
experience.
job. But yeah, those scores that he's gotten from Beethoven Virus shows his
What
O2 Jam.
I think seeing here from the stats, it's really the rice that really pulled out. Like seeing here, most of the rice picks are relatively low in terms of rank, especially on Tsunameri Smoke, which is stage 5. Which is, yeah. Had it, imagine mo lang if naging mataas yung score niya for rice pick, this would have been very different. But yeah. The LNs, you gotta be aware of that.
Actually,
LNs.
the number right beside the LN icon actually is the, let's say, relative ranking of each player throughout the entire roster. So we're actually seeing Yuripe perform 9th best performer in the LNs during this qualifier set. The hybrid as well at number 11. If my eyes are not failing me. Anyways, now let's move on to our seed number 11. We have Lynx 009, another O2 Jam import, if I'm not mistaken.
And we can already see that in Viridian City number 9. Or, is it number 9?
That is number 9, yes.
That is number
Meridian
9, yeah.
City.
Relatively the lower average on Rice LN hybrid, like 12, like a flat 12 on all averages for all patterns. But yeah, over again another like an O2 Jam player, but at the same time an all-rounder player in the early game side, especially at Viridian City, getting the 9th place, which is 935k. Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
All right, now let's move on to our 10th placer in the qualifier set. We have Nick Gulot. Also another LN player. We're already seeing a lot of these pretty nutty LN scores already. 7th best score on Beethoven Virus. And 8th best score on Viridian City. I think like the main thing that really put them in the 10th place spot is their overall rice performance for the most part, and actually even the hybrid one as well. For the most part, I think if anyone is going to be facing Nicolota, just be careful whenever you're facing them on the LNs, and this is especially knowing who their opponent is, who their opponent will be come next weekend. All right, now we have for 9C, part of the formerly part of the commentary team for PH Nats, we have VRX. Also, one of the returnees as well, actually maintaining that ninth seed even from last year. Notable score here is Viridian City and Final Flashlight. Also, single-digit ranks across the board for all of the Rice charts in the pool as well.
Yeah,
I
very
think Tsunami Smoke is also one of his best scores in terms of rank. 977k. That's the sixth highest for stage 5. Pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
That's really good. Yeah.
As much as VRX was a more of an O2 jump player, di ba? O2 jump player ba yan siya? Or like ano?
I'm actually not familiar with the background.
Surprisingly, he has a better average on the Rice picks.
Yeah, the Rice is really strong, and he can also play a good amount of hybrids, and he plays LN as well. So
Very true, but
Very-
very impressive.
very
Still very impressive.
Don't
very
sleep on
well
the
rounded.
guy. Don't
It's
sleep
just
on
yeah, even though he's 9 seed, like it's only because his Beethoven virus isn't that impressive, but like everything else, that's very scary to face against this guy.
I mean, to be fair, Beethoven Barrios is a pretty scary short to score. Like, I think I remember like every single room that I refereed throughout the entire weekend. Everyone was saying Beethoven Barrios. Oh no, I choke. Oh no, FC na sana yun. Oh no. Laki atong chart mo, Shadow Kun. Puro ganun yung pinagsasabi sa puro ganun pinagsasabi sa referee chat.
Yeah.
Now that we're done with the bottom half of the bracket, VRX will be facing the next person here, and I let you be the one to introduce that person, Art.
Alright, our 8th place is none other than Konichiwa!
I no way.
Oh
That
yeah.
is a very nice name.
Let's go!
Very nice.
Konichiwa being the
Yeah.
8th place or the 8th seed for 70. And the scariest score here, as far as I know, is both Final Flash Flight and Doki Doki Parirarura having 987k. That's the 6th highest. Oh my god.
Yung LN sa medyo humila sa kanya.
Again with, I think it's the Beethoven virus effect again. Guys, let's just call it the Beethoven effect. How about that?
It's Shadow Kun. It's a Shadow Kun.
No. Let's call it the
Nice.
Shadow Kun effect. There you go.
No, it's just the Beethoven virus, symptom.
Yeah.
right there.
The Beethoven virus.
Shadow
But yeah,
Kun symptom.
Yeah.
again with the better average on Rice, well, yung humila lang talaga is yung LN picks. But still, really respectable scores, especially on stage 1 and stage 3. Very, very good, very good. Especially for a newcomer and possibly a Bisaya.
Yeah. With that name, it's definitely maybe
The probability is high, okay? We're just
very
saying.
high.
Okay, now speaking of a possibly could actually speak Bisaya, our number 7 seed is someone from from Mindanao. We have Bueno.
Oh,
The actual Bisaya.
The
actual one,
actual
yes.
Bisaya, yes.
yeah.
Okay, so Bueno, also a regular comer in the PH Nuts industry. Wow, PH Nuts industry thing.
Jesus.
Anyways, the best score that Bueno ever got here was Doki Doki Parirarura, having number 4, 992k. Insane. And not to mention, the prototype also 985k, which is the 5th highest. Well, actually, you know what? Lahat ng Rice picks. He is a very
All-
strong Rice
all-
player.
All of the Rice
Uh-oh.
picks, honestly.
Best right.
All of them averaging at 983 or something. See, I can't really see the screen share right now, but it's like number 5 best Rice overall.
Yeah.
Again,
Actually-
with the Shadow Kun effect, yung LN talaga yung humila.
I mean, it wasn't really the Shadow Kun chart that really pulled Bueno that low. I mean, scoring the 12th best on Viridian City, I think this is like where the LN control, the coordination L control thing comes in.
Yeah.
And it's essentially something that Bueno might want to work on, especially going into the bracket stage. But I think Bueno versus Nicolot is going to be a very interesting match overall. Like, I think it's like one of those fights. Yeah,
Bisaya versus Bisaya.
Bueno versus Nicolot. Yeah, that's
Foreshadowing for the Visayan
That's
cast.
epic.
That's amazing.
or shadow for the Bisaya cast. Just a fun fact. There is like for a PH Nats Mania tournament, there is always that one matchup where we will be commentating in Bisaya.
Until
Will that be it?
tiebreaker, yes.
I
Will
think
that
it
be
would be. I think it should.
There's
be.
no need to introduce that. It's a usual.
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition in the PH Nats tournament. But anyways, I think we need to move on to our 6th seed.
Well, no need to introduce this guy, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we need to introduce this guy
Yeah.
at all. This
There he
guy's
is.
very well known.
Yeah,
Okay,
Maple
so
Syrup.
Maple Syrup.
MWC 7K 2016 team member. Overall, one of the best LN coordination players in PH. I mean, the guy actually held on to the best score in Beethoven Virus until a certain person upscored them. Like in a few qualifier blocks after their run. And this is also the first play that we're actually seeing. A basically what single digit ranking scores across the board.
Yeah, also not to mention the LN rank number 3 and number 2. 916
Second.
982 and 969k.
Second best LM player in the entire roster. At least for this qualifier set.
Mm. Yeah, if you're gonna be facing this player, you just really have to target the Rise, I guess.
Alright. Now, for our 5th place player, ikaw, Jeric. Ikaw, Arj. Introduce.
All right, for our 5th seed we have Wewodge, also
Me?
a very well-oriented player and also an auto jump player. I think a
Oh my
regular
god,
auto
I
jump
just
player.
noticed it when you see it on the price. When you see it on the price.
No, I don't.
The Rise does
When
say
you
when
see
you
it.
see it. Yes, 727. Are you guys happy? I
When
am.
you see it.
Anyways, yes. Seeing right here, Webwatch has also a good average for Rice and LN, with the Rice being with Viridian City on number 2, 984k, and also 957k, which is 5th place on Beethoven Virus. Oh, so yeah, pretty much telling this guy is an auto jump player. All right, magaling sa LNs.
Also, maintaining the same seeding as well from last year, as you noticed there, of 5th
Oh,
seed
yeah.
still, yeah.
5th seed from last year. Huh, consistency at its finest. Yeah, overall a very scary player to deal with.
All right, now for our fourth seeded player, another person that we don't really need to introduce. We have Arkwin on the virus. Si
Mappool.
El Capitan.
My goat! My
That's
my
goat
mania
right
goat!
there.
The GOAT.
I think no need to introduce this guy. I mean, let's go back Peacebreaker 2017, like a very, and also stage 4. The stage
When
4 is actually
when you
pretty
s-
nuts.
when you see it.
Also, yeah,
Yeah.
stage
Mhm.
1 score
Oh,
actually, the second highest, 995k, which is
Oh,
really
ano yan
insane.
to net?
I want you all to look at LN2, okay?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was
I
mentioning.
know.
Not again.
When
Not
you see
again.
it.
Oh no, not that. Oh no, they got us.
They got
meme-
us.
The meme got us.
Alright. So
Alright, so
we don't
yeah,
need to introduce this guy. Very strong.
the
Yeah,
guy's really good,
very
all
scary.
rounder. Yeah, very scary player. Lalo
Another
na sa
place. Okay, third seeded player. Another player we don't need to introduce. Part of the MWC 7K 2023 World Champion World Champion team here, Arona.
Arona.
Last year's number 1 seeded player.
Sen.
Yeah.
Best
Very-
score in the hybrid qualifier.
Yeah, he is currently the number 1 ranked seed for Final Flashlight, having 985k. 985k. How do you 985 the last stage?
Doki
Oh,
Doki
yeah.
pa rin, ano na, 994k as well.
4k as well. Yeah, 994 on Doki Doki Parira
All
Ruha.
the Rise.
And
are
almost
just-
990 on Tsunami Smoke.
Honestly,
is the
all of the
second
Rise
highest.
maps are
Mhm.
close to 990. So
Yeah,
very strong.
really something to note. Very noteworthy play here, Arona. I mean, I think Allied coordination might be their main problem but that's only relatively speaking because they have like one of the best scores as well in that regard, and I think
No,
they will
and
be able to. I think they'll be able to shine very well once the actual max pools come in.
And yeah, not to
Okay.
mention, Arona is more of the LN side, like LN coordination wise, if you're familiar on the MWC picks that he's been playing. So, yeah, this
All right.
might be a. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
All right, I think it's time for us to show who's the number 2 seed. Another player that doesn't really need any introductions. And the person actually coming back to the competitive scene here, we have Cielo Day, part of the 2019 second place MWC 7K 2019 second place team here. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back,
Look,
Yellow Day.
look at that Doki Doki Parinarura and the prototype. Actually,
Yeah.
overall, the best Rice player in this entire qualifier set.
No
Yeah.
contest.
Like no score, actually seeing at the stat for Rice stage 1 and stage 3, 996. Ang sobrang layo ng score gap on the second one. This guy is scary in consistency, especially at Rice. That's insane. Well, again, the lowest one being Beethoven Virus, which is number 6. But then again, totally respectable scores all around, especially on Rice. So yeah, be careful. If I were me, I would be very aware on Rice picks from this guy.
And now, our number 1 seeded player in the 7K bracket is the defending champion as well of PHN. We have Sunny. And look at those LN scores.
Ellens, there's
Hey,
Rice 3 as well.
Rice 3 being 990k. The rank, the first on
The only
Rice 3.
990k.
The only 990k actually. Overall having the best average so far. Like if you average all of the scores, it's around, I don't know, give or take 983k or something. Yeah, very good scores. And also number 1 for Beethoven Virus being 982. It's lower than Hybrid 1.
Grabe.
No one has,
It's
no one
crazy
has
to
gotten
me.
a 990 in the LN scores.
It's
But
crazy to me how the defending champion once again was seed number 1. I don't think this happens often. Like, usually kapag kapag may next iteration ng tournament, usually may bago yan eh. Pero this is a testament to how good and how consistent this player is. Survived the test of time and still number 1 seed. Or at
Yeah,
least
it-
number 1 in terms of, well, of course, they were the champion last year. And this year, they're up here. Though I do have a question with regards to this, since this is the
Ano ba?
last player. Kapag sa gabi na ba maglalaro si Sunny, Sunny pa rin
Magiging
matawag sa
Mooney.
kanya? Oh,
Magiging
yun,
Mooney,
ayun! Yun, di ba? I apologize for that.
Wala kayo last time, Sunny pa yan dati, di ba? So,
Yes, it was
May
Sunny.
Mooney. Yeah.
Muni. Muni.
Oo nga, no, Mooney.
yeah. Alright, I guess that's it
Oh,
for the.
I don't know.
7K
May
qualifiers.
I don't like breaking the fourth wall as well. May natatanong sa kasi Switch chat. Ano, paano naman daw kung hapon? Ano daw magiging tawag sa kanya?
Takip silim?
Okay, let's move on to the 4K result.
Okay.
Okay. But,
That did not work.
I
That
know.
did not work,
I know, it
honestly.
did not. But now, on a more serious note, 4K, of course, it having more players in general, I think the one thing that I really was excited to see was how would the older, or at least the players who were there in the previous iterations, would perform in this time, because there were some returning players, but there are a few new additions here. And I'm pretty sure everyone can agree that there are some surprising higher seeded players in this edition. And like when we saw that, we were all really surprised.
Yeah, a lot of these players trying to make a name for themselves, debuting themselves in this tournament, and well, a good amount of them has, succeeded in actually getting to the round of 16. So it's very impressive for them to reach this level of play.
Okay, so let's note. There are 44 players that we will be showing here. Only the top 16 does qualify to the bracket stage, so we will be rushing through a lot of names here, so if you miss your name, sayang.
Alright, just to correct, Surf, by the way, it's actually 35 who were able to
35,
play out of the 44, which is just a very good turnout. Hello again,
It's like,
let's begin.
only
And
half
I'm
players
really
left.
excited to see how they perform.
Alright, so we're gonna be starting off with the 4P qualifier results. At number 35, Rallo, final seed. Unfortunately, not performing that well in all categories, but next year I'm sure that they're gonna be doing way better than this. That's for sure. And the third floor will be very fun.
Number 34 is going to be Ladyman. Similar to the previous player, Buswello, unfortunately was just not able to crack onto higher positions, but still a really good effort from them. It's very much appreciated and we are glad that you're able to perform in this tournament. And following that would be seed number 33, Kuman. And the thing is here, we do see some cracking the 20th mark, which is the hybrid one, Hoshio Meguro Tabi. That one is an indicator that they have the capability to play some hybrids, but they really gotta work on the physical end, especially with that 926k on Rice 1. Just goes to show that ACK in general may be something that they could be good at, but physicality really still falls a little bit behind.
Okay, next. So number 32 is gonna be
It's gonna be Maki Guapo.
Maki Guapo.
And
Although he has the Guapo, but
Maki Guapo.
yeah, he might have the
Hey,
Guapo, but
at least there's one positive aspect, right?
I mean, come on, let's
Grabe naman kayo! Grabe naman kayo!
what are you doing, guys?
encourage
That was
them.
good. That was
Yeah, I'm trying
good.
to-
I like that. I like.
Oh my god, you guys.
Okay,
Okay.
they're doing. They can do some rice, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
okay. Yeah, they're
Everything
gonna
else, they
rise.
just didn't.
Sorry.
They just can't perform in the other skill sets. Unfortunately, they can do the rice, but that's it. Maybe next time they could. He could, improve the rice.
Yep.
Still a very solid
Yep,
effort.
you're gonna be able to improve, right? So next, our seed number 31, we have Russell 12331.
Yeah, another player that will not be going into the next stage. They can play some LNs, but the rice they kind of struggled in fives. So maybe next time they could improve that. And also the hybrid 2, they struggled in that as well.
Mm-hmm. And moving on from Russell, we'll have Pocho Loseria. Overall, still on the rank 30th side. Also shoutouts for having a Nene PFV. Let's
Nice
go.
Nene Kusanagi.
Nene.
TFB, yeah.
Nene is the best. Everyone.
Who is that?
Nene Kusanagi. Yan, nakikilock in sa
Who is
Project
that?
Sekai.
I actually don't know who's that.
Oh my god. Okay, that's
Second
Nene.
player
That's
show
Nene.
up.
Alright, that's
Second
Nene.
player show up. Project Sekai mentioned. Wow. Brr.
Alright. So
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So next. So again, it's a very average set of scores. Unfortunately, just not high enough.
Yeah,
Not
the
high of a
rice
ceiling,
and
rather. And next
rice too.
should be a familiar name for everyone. We have VRX here, who did
did
qualify
not
on the
qual-
7K side, but like what Laserade was gonna say, go ahead.
Did not qualify, unfortunately, in the 4-key side. Just struggled in the Rice 2 and Hybrid 2. Just there's a theme. The Rice 2, the Hybrid 2. A lot of these lower players have
Yeah.
struggled in these.
Rise 2 is a very brutal map, even from an outsider's perspective like me.
I mean, okay, like, here's the thing. Lower seeded players would tend to struggle more on a few things. Number one, physicality. And number two, anything that involves Ellen, really. I mean, here's the thing. VRX may be a 7K main, but when it comes to 4K, the meta for Ellens in 4K and 7K is very different. And Surf and Arj can definitely agree with that statement.
Oh, indeed. 4K and 7K LNs are actually very different, especially once you get into the later stages where, I mean, even like at the part where we are like, in the qualifiers, like mid game for both 4K and 7K, like the meta is like on 7K. This is where the more ridiculous patterns you can hit, the better. On 4K on the other hand, is like the more physical you are in dealing with the charts, the better.
That's
Mm.
very true.
That's the main difference.
Very true.
Very true.
Honestly.
And
You
speaking
can
of 7K, what were you gonna say, Laser Eat? Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, even if, like, you can be physically good and then just practice accuracy later in 4K.
That's true. But moving on, another player should be familiar in the 7K scene, Yuripe actually. I just realized this, but
Oh.
aren't these two players in the 7K
Yeah,
division?
they're both.
Yes, they were
Yeah.
both there.
And again, they struggled in the Rise 2, and well, they did better on the Hybrid 2, but those are the weak points for a lot of these players.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Hybrid 2 is a really difficult file. It's a very tiebreaker-esque chart, and it's really, really difficult as well. So
Hybrid
moving,
2 is like the pinnacle.
Mhm.
So,
So moving
I,
on-
I really understand like
Mm,
why
very
people are
understandable.
struggling with that.
Alright. So let's move on to the next one, which is going to be our 27th seed, Adrenaline PH. Nice pancakes, by the way.
Mm,
But
full of sauce,
mhm.
unfortunately.
Is it ketchup? Wait, no. That's
Is
maple
it-
syrup. Wait, no. Is it ketchup? Okay.
Sino
Oh.
naglalagay ng ketchup sa pancakes? Pwede matanong.
But
Imagine.
yeah, unfortunately,
Apple.
that profile picture has kind of offended a good amount of the casting. There's the scores here.
I'm just
The-
confused because I'm colorblind. I can barely tell what the heck that is.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
but
Although,
well,
something I have to say, I think everyone has noticed this so far. None of the players here have cracked the score that's in the top 16. Like, you know this even before. There are some players that do not qualify, but have like that one file where they're able to score really high on. We haven't seen a lot of them really yet, just right now.
a lot of them have performed as good. Some of them have performed well on Rise 1, really, but that's pretty much.
Yeah.
The rest of the map tends to be lacking, especially Rise 2.
The fact that 972k is just ranked 26 goes to show how talented this pool is. And moving on from that would be Crow. Crow is a really good player when it comes to physicality, but accuracy-wise, it seems to be that they need to work on that a little bit. And LNs and hybrids are certainly out of the table as well. So I do
Yeah,
think
this-
being able to iron out those skill sets is all that they have to do, really.
We've seen a great, improvement in score, and like we see, like the Rise 2 has finally gotten into the 900k benchmark here, the baseline there. But the Hybrid 2, unfortunately, still kind of struggling. But everything else, they're pretty good. If they keep improving at this rate, they could actually, actually get into the next year's bracket.
That's definitely
Yeah.
true. Then,
I was gonna say Crow's gonna be a monster next year if he keeps improving at this rate.
well, we hope to see more from them next time. And then next we have Wowie. Like that.
Oh,
Like,
Oh no!
this guy, I know. This is a 7 key player. I mean, really? Yeah, I guess so. He
Mhm.
plays 4 key quite
No,
some,
he's
for quite a
actually-
bit.
I actually know Wowie a lot. We call him Red Cat over in our group.
Cat.
but,
I see.
yeah, Red Cat. He's a Jack main, a really
really?
physically gifted one at that. But
Mhm.
yeah, his accuracy not favored at all the slightest. But he is really physically gifted.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of the leaderboards. So, I can tell he's very talented in the physicality. Unfortunately, the accuracies did not hold up in this qualifier. There's barely reaching the 900k mark in Rise 2 and
Honestly.
Hybrid 2. The same map weak points from a lot of these players.
Yeah, and now, moving on from Wowie, we have here Mythic. We're gonna be seeing the first score that actually does make it to the qualifying mark of number 16 with their 974k on Lovesick Cannibal. I did forget to mention that Wowie had the 980k on Reimagine, and that was still on the 20s. Like, I think that was 21st. Like, the fact that
Yes, 21st.
980k is already that low on stage 1, I can't believe how good players really are.
Yeah, a lot of these players just, do really well on Rise 1. This player was Mystic, not too bad of a player themselves. They can like I said for Crow right there, if he comes back next year, they could actually reach the bracket.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we'll have a player that I'm familiar with. We have Morley. Morley had some good scores, like that 5 score, despite not making it to the 16 mark. Still remarkable. Like, everyone I know had a difficult time on this, and I can't really blame them for that. It's a really difficult file to begin with. So,
Yeah, very.
yeah, go ahead.
It's a very difficult chart, and the fact that you could actually do well in it gives you a good amount of a good advantage when it comes to this when it comes to seeding. If you can do 5s, you can actually probably even get into the bracket. And although Morelli did do well on 5s, unfortunately you can see some of the weak points here, like hybrid 2, and the hybrid charts in general, they could be improved. Also the LNs as well, since Philippines known for their LN capabilities. It's very hard to get into the bracket if you are not good at those skill sets, really.
That's true. But now, before we go to the next player, I'm going to preface this by saying every player from here on, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will recognize them. And it's going to hurt to see some really good names not make the
Oh,
top
man.
16.
The
Alright.
heartbreak coming in.
There's like a lot of players in the 17 to 22 spot where, like, if things went well for them, they could have easily qualified.
Yeah, it was really close by all of these players. Like from 14 to 22, the difference not that much.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
So now let's go with Evelyn. Evelyn was someone who I know that tried out for MWC and 40M, and I saw some potential in this player. And up to now, I still really do. That LN1 and Hybrid 1 are certainly some notorious scores. But man, just those Rise sections kind of brought him down. And some of the later sections as well. I think it just goes to show that fatigue certainly was a factor, because look at the stages they seeded low on. Lobster Cannibal, which is stage 4, that's Hybrid 2, which is stage 6, and both Rises actually. These are usually the maps where the factors that could be affecting you are physicality and how late they are on the qualifiers. But it just means stamina is something they really have to work on.
Yeah, it's just something that they really have to work along, like how Elsa said, especially the Rise 2. It's like I said, you need to work on this if you really want to get into the bracket, really.
Alright, so next, another player who I really thought had a great chance of qualifying was Wall. Like, they had some really good performances. Wait, seed number 16 on stage 1 is 987k.
That's
Yeah,
the
that-
qualifying benchmark
That's
for
the
Rise 1?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the qualifying benchmark. 987k.
And look at Hybrid 2, that's number 15 in the rankings
Yeah,
here.
942. 942k was the qualifying benchmark. It's a really difficult file.
The only unfortunate part about Wall, they could have qualified if if Rise 2 was played better. That was the
Exactly.
heartbreaking part for this player.
Exactly, and also that Hybrid 1, which actually I find a little bit concerning because their LNs were pretty good. But Hybrids, they certainly needed a bit of work on that one.
It's just very different from Ellen sometimes, really. Okay, next player is gonna be...
Alright, let's see who the next player is. Era Gregory, and this is gonna be a name that would really be a little bit painful not to
Yeah,
qualify.
it's one of the players that I did kind of expect him to qualify, really. He's
I
very
also
good player.
expected him to qualify. Look at that score on Hybrid 1 too, 974. That is actually really good.
Unfortunately, the weak points 5s, and I guess Hybrid 2 it's played better, but 5s is just a lot of these players just couldn't get to the map.
Right. Next up. Okay. Here's gonna be the next player. Trey Blank This one was a really painful one to see because Trey Blank was a really good player and I saw so much potential in them. Like, I know Trey Blank is at least Tachyon Dan, so they definitely have the arsenal to improve so much. But the fundamentals just wasn't exactly there just yet. However, I don't think they should be that discouraged because I think this is their first time trying the Philippine Nationals qualifiers, so they have an idea of how it works now, and hopefully we'll be able to see them improve their skills next year.
If this is their debut, they probably had some nerves getting into the qualifier. Like there are a good amount of players that when they qualify, the nerves just come in very early, and well, although like Trey Blank might be Tachyon, you can see that the physicality is there for them. I mean, look at fives. What is that?
Yeah, that
Number
vibe's
11.
insane.
11.
Yeah, 11. Like despite that, they couldn't qualify. It's just that they just couldn't keep up the consistency, the accuracy. It's just not there for them. Like this is like the reverse, honestly. Vice 2 and Hybrid 2, they're that's their best scores. Usually that's their weak. Most players in these, the most of the players that didn't qualify, those are the weaker points. But for this player, they actually those are their best scores, but they just couldn't do well in the others. And that's the sad part about this.
And
They could
now-
have qualified.
And now, these next two names. Oh my god. Seed number 18. Sunny. Nearly qualified for the 4K Nationals. Nearly qualified.
That is so heartbreaking.
That is unfortunate for Sani. Like again, fives, Rise 2. This is the weak point for a lot of these players. They couldn't crack it. A lot of these players, and yeah, it just really was heartbreaking for them.
Alam mo no, like when we were monitoring the results, when I saw wait, does Sunny actually have a chance of qualifying even the Seed 16? Like, I was in disbelief.
Yeah, a lot of these players
Yeah.
did not perform in fives in some of these charts. But yeah, go ahead, Emily.
I remember, like, me, Surf, and Arj, we were like, okay, Sunny has to reach this score. And they were just super short of that. And man, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I've already said this, but the difference between all of these players, 14th to 22nd, very close.
Now,
I think if I remember correctly, while I was listening to you guys, I think you were like, Sani needs to maintain this accuracy. He needs to outscore this on the next round. I think that's what you were
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
y'all.
I think like what we were thinking is like Sunny must 950k fives.
Yeah.
Sunny must 930k ultimate or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
that's so
earlier.
true. And now, here's the last person who didn't qualify. And I think this will be a shocker to everyone. Especially to those who keep track of the MWC tryouts and the scrimmages and all that. Seed number 17. Yakumi 66. And this was very painful. Yakumi is an extremely consistent player. Look at that Rice. 15 and 15. It was just that LN2 and Hybrid 2 that dropped their seed to this low.
Yeah,
Really seeing a theme here with Ultimate and Fives being the downfall of most of these guys.
yeah.
Oh boy.
They couldn't hold on to the fatigue and the consistency. That was the fall.
I think like I posted a comparison of all qualifier stages, even including the ones for 7K. Stage 5 and Stage 6 for 4K overall are the lowest scoring qualifiers the entire set across the entire tournament. 4K and 7K combined. Yeah.
Yeah, this does reflect the relative difficulty of the last two stages where they're like much harder than the first four stages by like a round and a half.
Yeah, that was an extremely difficult. Honestly, I still
Well-
can't believe what happened. Like, the fact that it was that. And like, if we were to look at the seeding, right? I think Yakumi missed the qualifying mark by around 0.47, if I'm not mistaken.
It was very close.
Extremely close. So now, let's proceed with
The
the
funeral
top 16.
is over.
Top 16, making it, is gonna be Hago. And honestly, I'm very happy to see Hago make it. We're gonna be seeing our first single-digit rank, number
What is
7 at
that?
Lovesick Carnival, 989k. So you're saying,
The cannibal score.
so like around 6 players probably were at least 989.2k plus. I can't
A
believe
nail
how good
biter.
these players are.
Yeah, it was a
Monkey.
nail biter.
Monkey business is actually so weird to look here. Look at here, like look at the contrast between their LN1 and LN2.
Yeah, like I think I told Surf this, but like, considering how kind of similar that those two maps are, it's very surprising to see that. But I will admit, like, regardless of how that happened, they just gotta be really happy they qualified.
Yep. It was a nail biter for sure. That LN2 definitely put them on the line. Although Monkey Business not doing too well in terms of the rankings there, it's just so much of a difference.
Right.
That difference put them into the round of 16.
And number 15, I'm so happy for this person, Milk Watcher. Look, I know people are gonna be like, but this person is from Ireland. Okay. They're allowed to be here because they are Filipino as well. Honestly, really happy to see them qualify, especially even with the fact that they had a low Hoshi or Megurutabi score and lots of 5s. Their LN in general and Rice 1 and Hybrid 2 certainly made up for it. You know, when Surf talked about the point between LN1 and LN2, look at Milk Watcher's Hybrid 1 and Hybrid 2. Sure, the Hybrid 1's higher score, but relatively, that isn't as good as compared to how well they performed on Hybrid 2 compared to the rest.
Yeah, the LN Milk Watcher, very good at LN, put them just above a good amount of the players in the that didn't qualify. It's just that, you know, Hoshio Megurutabi, although the difference between Hybrid 1 and Hybrid 2, not that much, still, you can see the difference in the rankings, a huge difference. So, the
Yep.
fact that they did so well in the LNs just puts them above, and also they managed to do, they were good enough, their Rice scores were good enough to qualify.
Now moving on, it's gonna be a familiar name, Scoliosis ET, also known as Jarrod Pog. This is not silicosis, okay? This is Scoliosis ET.
Scoliosis ET, I just realized that. But yeah,
Yeah, they're
Thank
a
you,
four,
Gabe.
a 4DMWC player, very strong. Obviously, you can see a little bit of the weaker points. Ultimate not doing as well, just like a lot of these players, but they're just all of the every single other score very consistent. Honestly, not really much to say.
Mhm.
I mean, the Rice won 990. I think that's the first 990 we've seen.
That's actually insane. 990 at number 13. Okay.
That is the first 990 we've ever seen so far. So
Yep.
that's pretty good.
Now, this name will probably shock so many people. Number 13. Look at the Rice seed compared to that LN and Hybrid.
Yeah, this is
Oh
a
man,
very-
second best second best Rice player in the entire roster.
Who's cooking the
Hey.
rice cakes?
Yeah, this is kind of what this you can see what skill set they're pretty good at. You know, you can already see that.
I expect for this guy to be the one to push the match to tiebreaker with the rice picks alone.
That's so true. Like look at that Rice. 992 on 5s. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, what in the world just happened? And then I was like, oh, like man, this guy, it's C13, but this is not a C13 player at all.
For the Rice, they're definitely one of the best, but the other skill sets they tend to be kind of weak on. So if you're playing against this player, You have to target the other skill sets. You cannot target Rice. You're going to probably, most likely, you're gonna lose if you're playing Rice
I,
against this player.
I'm still in disbelief. What is this carry by the Rice Picks?
And now,
Oh,
seed number 12. Another familiar name. Mouse Chow. Look, Mouse Chow improved tremendous on that accuracy. Like 991 and 990. That's a massive improvement on the Rice accuracy. And honestly, I'm very happy to have seen that happen. Not to mention that hybrid performance was also decent. Like Mouse Chow really was able to iron out the skill sets they had since 2020, and look at where they are now. Look at where he is now, and he's really, really improved a lot. And I think everyone can agree it's something to be proud of.
Yeah, Mao Xiao, known to be very physically good, just didn't have the accuracy back then. Now, look at that Rice. Look at those Rice scores, man.
Yeah, I
Very strong.
gotta be proud of Mao Xiao. Honestly, I'm really, really proud of them. I hope to see him perform more on this tournament. Another name, man. I think people are gonna be starting to get nervous here. Seed number 11, Jay. Look at that LN and that hybrid, but the Rice really had to be worked on here.
Yeah, an opposite of Mouse Chow, basically. Good at LN and hybrid, but the Rice isn't as good. Jay, been in this community, I think he's kind of known at this point as a really good LN player and also hybrid player. Played for the MWC, very strong player in those skill sets. Only plays the skill sets that I mentioned. And they just need to work on their Rice. And if you're playing against this player, well, you have to pick the Rice ones.
Now, woo! Top 10 seeds. A lot of big names. Here's the first. Sen at seed number 10. What world are we living in here right now, man?
Sen, a player that hasn't been playing the game as much from what I've seen. Like, I haven't seen this player in quite some time. I forgot to mention, like, before, Jay was the first 990 in LN1, actually, from what I remember.
Yeah,
That was
that's
the first
true.
990.
That's true. I did not pick up
Number
that.
6, actually.
Think
Yeah,
it's-
number 6 in there. But we're going to be talking about Sen here. Sen, a player that they've been playing for quite some time, and they decided to return to the game, and they're still destroying the charts here. They've been really good back then, and they're still really good right now. Look at that ultimate score. Like
From
Yeah,
what
number
I've,
six.
That
what
ultimate
I've seen,
score
they
is
just-
insane. Yeah?
like from what I've seen, they just got better with each break passing by, and that they also have this really good all-round pace that's really proven in stage 6. Whereas most people tend to struggle on this hybrid 2 stage. Sen just slayed it so good with that
Yeah.
stage 6.
The fatigue just makes them stronger, I guess. I mean, what the heck? I mean, the other scores, they're just, consistent. 10, 12, 10, 12. And the first hybrid is number 13, but all these scores, like, look at 993. That's how you get, if you want to get into the top 10 Rice 1 score, you
That's
have
the
to get
benchmark.
993, 151. That's pretty strong.
Alright. Now, the next big name here. Oreo at seed number 9. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that spread on the rise. 992.5, getting the number 2 seeded score. And number 8 on Rice 1. It's the LN1 and the Hybrid 2 that kind of made their score lower. But, wow, overall, really good. Still a really good
Oreo.
performance.
Another player that hasn't been playing the game as much recently, but like look at those Rice scores. They've been known as a really good Rice player and a very good physical player. But like, what is that? What is that?
I know, right?
993, 992. You can't play against this player in Rice. You're going to lose most likely.
That's true. And now, I think everyone's excited for the next seed because the seed 8 versus seed 9 matchup, it's gonna be a boxing match here. Voltsy is seed number 8, by the way.
Volpsy.
What?
And as you can see, it's like the opposite of Oreo. Look at their rice, a little bit weaker, sure. But their LN and hybrid? What are those scores? They're single digit rankings.
It was just Rice 1. That was an unfortunate miss, but other than that, they had
Yeah, the rice one.
a really good qualifier run other than that. But it
Maybe
happens.
Rice-
It happens. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Laser.
sometimes rice one was just maybe a bad day, bad score in that qualifier. So
Probably. Now,
this could be stronger than the seed suggests.
it could definitely be. But now, moving on. Next. It's going to be seed number 7. Sirenox. Sirenox is notorious for being really good at hybrids, and they certainly did not disappoint here. Like, look at that hybrid. 7 and 4. Very, very balanced spread. It was just 5s, really. A lot of these players sort of struggle on 5s, and I can't really blame them because of how difficult of a file that is.
Yes. It's not. Yeah, Reimagine 993. Very good score. It's just 5s. Not as good as a lot of these players. The LNs seem to be average at this point since we're in the round of 16. The score rankings kind of average at this point. Unless if you count Monkey Business, number 8, pretty good. The hybrids are definitely the highlights of this player. Very, as you said, very notorious hybrid player, and you gotta avoid the hybrids if you're playing against Zyronox.
And now, before we go into the top 6, every name here is gonna be bombshell after bombshell.
Everyone knows these players.
Like, not only that, but the order, like, how these players perform, it's gonna be, what? Like, I'm sure a lot of people will be surprised.
I'm so nervous. and I'm
Number
not even playing.
6, Silicosis.
Silicosis
What?
CT.
Look at,
Silicosis.
and now we get our first
Silicosis CP.
Silicosis ET. We get our first number 1 score at 5s. Very impressive. 993,675. That is the best score we've seen. And look at that Rice one. 995. That is rank number 5, by the way. So you're saying 4 other people got 995 in this file.
Yeah, it is very scary. Like, Silicosis is well known for their, very strong Rice, but also like SV. But I don't think SV is in this tournament anymore. But LNs, they kind of lag behind against the other top seeds, but and a little bit of trouble in Hoshio Megaru Tabi, but the very consistent looking player, especially in the Rice. You can't play against this player in Rice.
Silicosis did almost get the same score on one file twice, not to mention almost full comboing his entire lobby as well. Very impressive for Silicosis. Next up, seed number 5, Swire 0116. Look at that LN. At
Yeah.
least based on the qualifiers, this is the best LN player out of the qualifiers. 993, 994, very impressive. Just what an amazing performance.
Swar, very known for their LNs, very strong in them, has participated in the 4D MWC and has been very good at the LNs, even against the international competition, against many of the best 4 digits in the world. He just shines in these LN charts, and we can see that in the qualifiers. Like, what are those?
That's so true. And now, so remember that Valeria was seed 13. If I'm not mistaken, if I did the math right, their matchup, I'm sure they would be very excited for this, as Levet is seed number 4. Look at that, like, just very well rounded. One of the most uprising players. And
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Very strong. There's no clear weaknesses from Livia. Like, there's not many clear weaknesses. You can't really find a weakness.
This guy's a jack of all trades, and he's actually a master of most of them. Jesus.
Yep.
Like, you just you just have to pick and prod a lot of these maps. Liviet also very strong physicality. I've known them since, I mean, I've never talked to them, but I've seen them play. They're very good. Initially, they're very good at physicality, but ever since then, they've improved in all of the other skill sets, and we can see.
Mhm.
Like, look at that.
Now, this name is gonna be a shocker to everyone. Unitori seed number 3. They have improved this much, man. Like, I think Surf remembers this player as a high
Yeah.
seed back in 2022. Look at where
Yep.
he is now.
Yeah, Unitori, um, not his flag, not Filipino, but Filipino by heart. Very strong in the LNs and hybrids. Look at that. Number three in both of the LN charts, and number 2 in Hoshino Meguru Tabi, and number 3 in Ultimate, almost 990k. This probably means that the number 2 and number 1 are probably 990k in Ultimate, which is pretty surprising considering the fact that we've seen so many players struggle in this chart, and a little bit of I think like you just have to pick Rice against Unitori. I mean, if you're a top seeded player, really.
Talk about a glow up with Unitory. Jeez.
No, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of which, the next one, number 2 seed, Silicosis 2. Even without the presence of SV, he's shown to be really good at, and very much well-rounded. Look at that lovesick cannibal, 995.9?
Yeah, Silicosis 2, also known as Cub 03. Look at that, this LN score. I didn't, to be honest with you, when I played with Cub, LN wasn't really their best skill set. Look at it now. What is this?
And
Number
the
one?
Ellen certainly was a thing. It was only 5s in Ultimate, the more physical picks, which shouldn't really be that surprising, actually. See, the difference between Unitori and Livet, you know the difference between Unitori and Livet was 0.04. The difference
Yeah.
between Silicosis 2 and Unitori was 0. I think that's... Not sure, I think that's 0.91, I think?
We can do the
Or
math
89,
later.
something like that. So it was very close. But now, it's seed number 1. Plena, look at that! 997.083 on Rice 1, 993 on Monkey Business, and number 1 on all the hybrids. Someone got a 990 on Ultimate. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Bro's like
Yeah.
gotta catch them all with those number ones.
He
I
got
know.
4 of them. Well, how is that humanly possible?
90
Yeah.
on stage 6 is actually
Very strong.
Like, okay,
Very impressive.
also I forgot to mention, but this is the only player that got 990 on every file. Every map
Yes.
990.
Oh yeah.
Look at
That is pretty very strong. That's very strong. Plana, also known as Anosius, like very strong. Like could have gotten like a lot. Honestly, if Anosius or Plana, as well known now, if Anosius got number 1 in all of these charts, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look at these. What are these scores?
And like,
Crazy.
I want to add to this, okay? So, the number 2 seed had a rating of 91.72. The number 1 seed had a rating of 96.73. There's a gap there. And it just goes
Yeah.
to show how well Plena did on
Is this
The
total
qualifiers.
dominance?
total dominance indeed.
Dominance.
And
Yeah. So
that's
that's
about
all
it.
that's all the
results, but
seedings.
we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Far from it, actually.
And I think I would let Surf and Arj and whoever else wants to join take the floor for now. Go ahead, you two.
Well, now that you've seen all of the players that will be involved in the upcoming round, I think it's about time for us to show what these players are going to be playing in the upcoming weekend as well. So similar to what we did for the results reveal, we will be doing the 7K pools first. And unlike the previous years, we will not be doing a randomized order for the charts now. Everything will be done according to their order in the map pool. So there for this round, and this is applicable for both 4K and 7K. there will be 5 Rice charts, 3 LN charts, and 3 hybrid charts for both pools. And obviously, the last one is going to be the tiebreaker. So there will be a total of 24 charts that we will be showing, 12 each for both team modes. All right, so without further ado, let us open the 7K round of 16 Mappool showcase with the first custom chart of the bracket stage. Radalis, Radalis featuring Ayumi Nomiya, Little Star, a chart by Makiba. And this is our primary speed pick for the round of 16. And honestly, this is, I'd say, like a very straightforward speed chart, really. Lots of your standard rice patterning here, and a lot of emphasis on stair usage, especially once you get to like the main section of this chart. O yan, ako lang ba mag-isa ngayon? O sige. There,
Oo, ikaw lang mag-isa, oo. Sorry, I was
Uh,
doing something. Anyways, where were we? Little Star.
yeah, that'll start.
Okay, so based on experience on playing the round of 16, this is pretty much a straightforward Rice one as you expected it would be. It's not complicated. It's not as complicated as it is, you know. So the thing is, with early game Rice ones, they're usually like accuracy run check or something because they're puro sila either stairs or ladders yung ginagawang patterns at early game. So usually when you want to play stuff like this, you'd want to focus or maintain your hit distribution in the middle. Make sure that hindi ka early or hindi ka late. Otherwise, you just go early all the way, which is the usual thing in delay charts like these.
Yeah, now going into the final quarter of this chart, this is actually one of the shorter picks in the pool as well, and you see already a miss coming here from our lead player here, Bazinga.
Bazinga from
Yeah,
The Big Bang Theory? The Bazinga guy?
maybe. Yeah, like I think the patterning in the final quarter of the chart does actually get pretty rough, and there's a running man pattern here. The LNs, while they are there, I don't think they're intrusive enough to affect the score really. Most of the difficulty comes from most of the stair sections that we see from this entire chart, and that ends our first chart of this pool. And let's immediately go to the second one. So we have
Oh,
Kaiden Aura. Best song in the pool, maybe?
the monkey. Monkey.
Yeah.
This was
Monkey.
the weirdest song I've ever experienced. Like I ever play tested in a Mappool. And you know, the background, albeit the background, it's monkey. Go back, I wanna be monkey. This is our dense chord stream pick. So there are gonna be some heavier chord streams now and then, but there are some sudden sort of brackety parts in some sections.
I mean, it's an overall bracket focused chord stream chart, really. It also like somehow,
Mini jacks.
yeah, some mini jacks, but like they're not really that intrusive. I guess if you're not paying enough attention, which you should be. Anyways, so for the most part, really, this is your standard how do you say, like 2DX BMS style charting where it's super straightforward at the beginning and then it picks up intensity at the end.
Yeah, this is the kind of chart that's really comfortable, right? The one that's very comfortable to play with a BM controller, as seen with the biased patterns right here, with the the brackets and stuff, which is like a strong side for.
Well,
And this, albeit this is a break, this is weird. I don't know why.
yeah.
This is so weird for me.
Well, it's just a visual effect, really, to be
It's a
fair.
visual-
It's a break section.
No, it's not actually the sound cue. It's not actually those BPM lines. It's the sound cue that's on
Yeah.
the break, which is weird for me. Yeah. Anyways, it's again a straightforward bracket chart as possible. And seeing the replay here, you kind of get the tendency to hit either early or late, as seen from the replayer. And yeah, that's very understandable. Like you suddenly go into like stairy stuff like this, like repetitive stairy stuff. Yeah. That's pretty much your dense chord stream pick for round of 16, Kaiden Aura, aka
Now,
Monkey Aura.
yeah, Monkey Aura. Anyways, let's move on to the next pick. This is our going to be our cord jack pick, one of the longer picks in the entire pool. So we have Over the Northern Mountains, outclassed by PWHK. Those who played in the Osimania Apprentice Level 7K tournament, like in the second half
Oh
of the
my
year
God.
last year, should be familiar with this chart.
Oh my
And
god.
you
Wait,
can already see right there.
you can see my scores. Oh my god.
So this cord jack chart in particular is not, it's not like your usual, like your typical cord jacks really. This is one of those charts where the chords are pretty spread out throughout. Pretty spread out. Like it doesn't really rely too much on your anchoring ability until like what, going into like halfway through the chart, then that's where most of the anchors really come in. But I'd say this is going to be a really favored pick among those people who can act through these cord jacks.
It's again the battle of 300s.
Yeah, paramihan ng solid.
Paramihan ng solid 300 plus. Ganun yan.
I actually kind of wonder what's with the theme of the replayer names. We have now Dave Bautista. Yeah.
Dave
Is
Bautista.
it like Batista from WWE or something?
Yes,
I
that's his name.
I have
Yeah.
no idea, but probably, yeah. I don't know.
Like I said, here we go. The density of the core seems, of the core jacks starting to come in, while the patterns do look like they're more of a core. They're more of a core seam, but they're pretty slow enough where your motion really is practically wrist jacking for the most part. And now here we go. Like some of these big chord hit, starting to be interlaced within the chart. And now more of these, and now into these anchor like doubles. And I like how this is practically considered like the break section of this entire chart as well.
Yeah, it does have long jacks here and there. It's the kind of patterns that you'd probably get tripped over. You'd probably trip over on stuff like this, but you know, it's low BPM, so it's really not that hard unless you for some reason hit it way too early. I guess that would be a problem, but you know, core jacks, it's normal for 7-key core jacks to have at least long jack patterns, you know.
And there you go, the anchored chord jacks coming into the final third of the chart. Really, like the most of the brunt of the difficulty is here, and I'd say the players must come into this chart pretty wary of that difficulty increase, especially if they're not really that stable enough. But if you're confident going into the match, this should be one of your go-to picks really. Now more of these spread out chord jacks with some of these big hits like 6-note chords, 5-note chords. And that's practically this entire chart for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't have any other comments aside from act check. Palakihan ng ratio to.
Yeah. Now up next for our technical pick of the pool, I think you should be the one to introduce this.
All right. Okay, so this is our second custom map for round of 16, which is let me read it. Give me 1 second. It's CXV Bio PXV CBN 6 by Usalet.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
So that is our Rise Sport technical pick. And also shoutouts to Makiba for actually helping to edit like most of the patterns here. Because I'm not gonna lie, charting early game tech was a bit of a challenge for me. And for some reason Makiba did help me a lot on this. But anyways, yes, as you can see, the background is in fact me on my own camera. Yes, I made the whole background, the whole chart, everything from start from the get-go. And yeah, I get this feeling that this might be the most bannable Rice pick in the pool. Please don't. But still, you get this small break let's go with a small break. Yeah, just some mini jacks right there. I hope that counts as a break. But still, if you are into early game tech, this is probably one of those charts that you could greatly improve with, in my own personal opinion. But yeah, if you like tech, if you really like tech that much, I suggest you go practice this one like a lot. I could not hold 99 on this even at my peak. So
Actually, the one thing that like the players could really take note of is how abrasive the patterning here, how abrasive the starts patterning could be. Like you're already being demanded to do like very fast drilling, like aside from like your mini jack, aside from like those mini jack movements, really for the most part, I think this might be one of the lower scoring cards in the entire pool. Arguably one of the hardest picks in this entire pool as well.
and yes, also
Yeah.
the replayer name, that is the actual spec for taking the picture. So if you want reference, go ahead. Go
Anyways,
ahead and
now
use that. Okay, anyways.
now let's move on to the last rice pick. We have these time files. This is actually one of the oldest charts in this entire pool as well. A chart by LNP, and I think we can start this one.
All right, so I I haven't actually played this that much, but it is mixed rice. And mixed rice in early game is not something that most people would say it's an act pick. It's weird. There will be some slight LNs here and there, like the ones you just hold slightly. I doubt that counts as like hybrid stuff. But you will see a lot of like bursts and yeah, double stairs like those, symmetrical double stairs. And in usual XI or usual C kind of mapping, it is very common for them to use like double stairs and just stairy patterns in general. And not to mention there are some bursts here and there. Yeah.
Like this chart has practically everything. Like I guess like there's like some lack of technicality here for this chart in particular, but
Yeah,
for the
also
most
not to
part,
mention the drill part there earlier. Yeah, be careful with that.
I don't think that part is too bad. I don't think that part is too bad, honestly. Like for the most part, like this chart is like super straightforward. Again, as I mentioned, like this chart does have everything that you expect from a mixed size chart. I think like the one thing that it only really lacks is the some technicality, but there are patterns that do need some level of finger control from your end. That's like what you already see here. But again, the LNs that are in there, I don't think should affect your scores too much. Most of the difficulty will be coming from the rice.
Yeah, this is more of double stairs and bursts, less mini jacks. I don't think there is a mini jack part on this map, like at all.
Yeah,
So
it's like just some very straightforward core jacking.
hopefully the most picked one in the entire rice pick, that and also rice too, I guess. But you do
Yeah.
you.
Anyways, now that we're done with the rice picks, let's move on to the LN side of the pool and the hybrids as well, because aka the weeb side of the pool, we have Neko Hacker Sai featuring Motoha here and a chart by yours truly and Ironeosu. Um, let's see here. Like this is your general LN control pick of this pool. In comparison to like the previous years, LN1, like the LN release, LN coordination side of the pool is going to be differing in methodology this year, and especially this is something that like like observing MWC 7K how the LNs are being pulled. So for the early game, we're going to have like a general LN control pick here, which is just a combined coordination release kind of chart for this pool. So
Like compared to like all like typical surf chew maps, yeah, this one is like surprisingly straightforward. As per experience.
like the first third of this chart, I think is actually very straightforward. Some simple layerings here, like some overlapping LNs like every now and then. But then you get to like what? Like after the first chorus of the start, which is where the LN coordination part of the LN control skill set starts to kick in. You're already seeing some of them, like some of these overlapping LNs, like some of these more extended LNs also starting to show up as well.
It does run down to 2 minutes and 46 seconds, so it's slightly longer, but not long enough. And you know, if it's a LN coordination kind of pick, it is kind of long because of how usually slow the songs they pick are.
I think this is like one of the faster songs that could be using like the control side. And now we're about to enter that. I think like one of the best parts of this chart, which is like that guitar solo and hearing
guitar
go.
solo. The difficulty of the chart immediately ramps up from that part onward. So yeah, if you're not prepared, yeah, just be prepared for that one part.
Some minor shield usages as well in this chart.
Yes, shields. And now you're just greeted with some overlapping LNs earlier right there, and then you're back to the usual LN coordination kind of pattern. As you would.
But again, like I think this is actually one of the more easier LN picks in this entire pool for the most part.
I
Now
agree.
let's move on to the LN density pick of this pool, which is Bird Sprite, a chart here by Makiba, and actually a collaboration with Shadow Kun as well. And yes, you heard that right, Shadow Kun.
Oh no.
Though,
You hear that word, folks. Shadow Kun.
This isn't as RNG as Beethoven Fires, I think. Like this is actually a very straightforward. This is a very straightforward chart.
It is tamer compared to usual Shadow Kun charts. Though there are many jacks, yeah, sure, pero it's not the shield kind of thing.
I mean, it's what?
But you are compensated with that though.
It's BMS music charted as LN. So
LN.
yeah, it's kind of expected you're gonna have like some of the more mini jack-ish kind of patterns. But yeah, now into the main brunt of this chart, which if you're looking at this correctly, it is just an LN chord stream.
I think this might be the one chart that will be like a comfort spot for most LN mains, because it is again LN density. If you're into like if you wanna play LN stuff, pero like at the same time you're more on the Rise side, this is the kind of chart that you'd want to, I don't know, the one that you'd want to prefer practicing on, kasi nga density nga eh.
And now we're about to enter like the final third of the chart, where again, as I mentioned, this is like BMS 2DX style music charted as LN. So the charting theory also goes that way. They're gonna be seeing some increase in abrasiveness in the patterning, if not density, for these LNs as well. But again, another very straightforward chart, and I'd say like if you're one of those Rise players who favor chord stream as well, this might be something that might be within your back pocket as well. Like just in case like you get cornered to the point where you might have to pick LN, this might be that one LN pick that you might want to look at. And that should be it for LN2. Now we're done with the more straightforward charts. Now let's move on to the last LN pick of this entire pool.
Yeah, this
Ikasonic
one.
and Tatsunoshin Shizuku featuring Miona in Kotono House. And oh boy,
This was I personally think this might be the hardest LN.
this is the hardest.
Yeah, this is the hardest one. This is the least straightforward pick that we're gonna be putting on round of 16. It does have like sudden burst of stairs right there, and not to mention you are introduced to LN releases.
LN lots of LN regular LN releases. Like if Sai did not have too many LN releases, this is where everything went. And not to mention, I think this is a point of contention really for the LN mains in this tournament, in the 7K bracket. And I'm pretty sure this is going to cause a lot of feedback to the Mappool selectors. So we're already prepared for it. It's actually the fact that this start is ODA.
Yeah. Like seeing here, like looking at the charting, it's not as bad as it is, but if you see the OD, that's where this map gets very difficult.
But again, like if you're more of a combo player, I think this would be something that you'd be looking at.
Yep. So yeah, it's a usual mix of your
LN, and then the density of the start does pick up. Like once you get to like the final third of the start, like as you can see for the previous picks as well.
There is a break right here. Yeah. But if you count like short LNs as a break, yeah, you might guess. But even the break doesn't
I'm pretty sure Arj is the one who did make the replay.
Oh
for
yeah.
this pick, yeah.
Yeah, as per experience, yeah, technical hybrid more on LN oriented siya. Huh. In comparison to what was the map again? The early map? I keep forgetting.
Ray passcode.
Ray passcode. This one is how do I say this? Like it's like generic hybrid but way fancier. I don't know what the word is, but yeah. But this one, I think personally, I don't think this will be the most bannable one. I think players might enjoy this map more hybrid. So then we get to this delay portion na puro stairs. Then you're just greeted with a slight short break. You know, some double chords break right there, but yeah, you're greeted with that. Yes, you're greeted with what do you call this one? Some kind of petty stream.
Pretty quick stream section.
Yeah, you're greeted with a very quick stream section and then some burst of stairs right there. And then wait, see.
Yeah, like a lot of the fantasy is super straightforward, but then at least for this one you're actually being asked to deliver a bit more really in terms of your physicality. The other one was like what, LN control with some chord jacking, like some occasional rise control. This one overall is just you must make sure your hands are able to move around just fine. And that ends the second hybrid pick of the pool. And now for the last regular pick in this pool before the tiebreaker, we have another old chart really, Donderma, a chart by Cryolian. And this is our wildcard hybrid pick of this pool. Like the reason why this is classified as the hybrid, as a wildcard hybrid pick, is that this is actually a bit more. I'd say like this is actually the most LN biased hybrid pick of this pool.
I actually don't know this at all.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll watch.
Okay, so a theme that you'll be looking at into this chart is LN chords. I think this is like what, one like quarter beat long LN chords. Like for the most part, this is actually pretty easy to act. Like if you have the ability to do so, this is actually one of the easier to act charts in the LN in the hybrid side of the pool.
I don't think I've ever heard the music of this.
It's just ice cream, I promise.
It's just ice cream, I promise.
Yeah, like the music here is actually pretty fun. But again, you're already seeing like just LN chords, like, not LN chords theme, just LN chords. Some of these mini bracket usages as well, like very different really from what we saw from like the other two hybrid. Now we enter like a more of these semi chord streamy kind of section.
Yes, it does look more aggressive in terms of LN than on Rise, so you do get some heavier LN chords here, and not to mention they are short LN, so very susceptible to 200s or earlier releases. So there's that. But I think, aside from the tiebreaker, it is one of the longer side of the map pool, well, except from the core jack pick. But yeah, it's like a few seconds short. But yeah, significantly one of the longer sides of the round 16 Mappools.
Now we enter like increasing complexity of the charting now. You're already seeing it. Like some of the rise starts to become a bit more abrasive as well. They're gonna try to trip you up. But again, the chart just follows like a certain constant really. Like once you get how this plays, like this should be very straightforward.
Yep.
On the final quarter of this chart, like more of these galloping LN kinds of patterns. You see like at this point you should already know when to release these staccato LNs, these quarter beat long LNs that you're already seeing here. But like if you're a player who isn't confident in that regard, this might actually be one of those you might consider for a ban. But that really depends on what kind of player you're going to be for the most part. And that ends the regular picks of the round of 16 pool for the 7K side of the tournament. Now let's move on to the tiebreaker, and it's actually one of the longer. It's a pretty long tiebreaker, just clocking at 4:56. Just under 5 minutes. We have Rigel Theaters, Luri, a chart by Irona Osu, and this is the Malt quarterfinals tiebreaker as well. Not the ranked version. There's actually some differences between these two. Well, the chart in itself is, I'd say, very dynamic. Like the patterns here flow from one section to another very well. Like there's no part here where, oh yeah, this is just a straight up LN section. This is a straight up Rice section. Like there's going to be a decent mix of everything throughout this entire chart, and I think that is something that a lot of players who will be practicing this will be able to appreciate.
This is true.
Now, like, I think like for the first, like if I remember correctly, like the first part of the start is going to be more of that's more of like an LN control section really. And you're already seeing that like some of the race usages here also flows into like the next LNs, like just doubles like a one-fourth stair, triple stair, like you're in a way. Now, some of these minor sweeps as well, like these overlapping LNs. Sorry, the chart is starting to pick up in the density as you're already seeing here. Yeah, you're noticing like lots of other control. Now we're starting to transition into a more of a Rice section. Like while I did mention earlier, like for this turn in particular, there's like a distinct Rice section, distinct LN section. Like there are parts like that, but then Irona throws curveballs at you where if you're gonna think that all of this is just going to be Rice, and then suddenly you're going to be holding a note somewhere in your hand, and then once you get used to that, and then suddenly you're gonna be releasing that said note. Like this chart likes to subvert your expectations for the most part. Now, these LNs are interwoven within this chord stream. And this is practically like what I mentioned earlier. Like the chart is dynamic. Like before you even make an expectation, this is going to be the rest of the chart. You're just going to be playing something else. The final third of the chart, everything here will be starting to increase in difficulty, the increase in density a bit. Again, as I mentioned, like just with how dynamic this chart is overall. Like if you're a player who's this is one of those tiebreakers that you actually need to practice. Now, more difficult section of like the main pattern of the chart. Like you already see some of these faster stairs, like some of more of those mini jacks. I think this is like where your stamina really starts to the stamina factor of the match already starts to kick in, especially with this being a tiebreaker, fairly long chart. Like if you easily get tired, this is a section that you might not really want to play. But the chart really just keeps going on and on and on. And now we're basically winding down the patterning here. The patterns are starting to become light, but you still cannot. You still need to keep your guard up in this section because there's still stuff. And those final releases mark the end of this chart. That is a really nice FC right there from our replayer. And that also ends the 7K round of 16 Mappool showcase. It's now time for us to place the mic to Silweska Elson Lot for the 4K round of 16 pool.
All right. Hello there.
Hello, hello.
So yeah, I mean, if Lasereed also wants to chip conversation,
I
there you
mean,
go. So
I could, but I'm not really that good at map pool stuff,
all right,
so
all right.
Honestly, thank you, the remaining 31 viewers who used to for still sticking here with us.
There's still
I know
31
that.
views. Oh my goodness, that's
that is
I
amazing.
know that,
that's
like, I'm aware that it's past midnight for the Filipinos, but holy cow.
I
It is
really
pretty.
appreciate.
Yeah, it is midnight, so
So
pretty.
now, I guess it's fair if s-
I'm not
go
supposed
back.
to stay up, but, like, I like the PH map rules,
Well, I
so
really
why not?
appreciate.
Well,
I
I
really,
haven't
really,
seen them, so
I appreciate you, Snow or LZ fanboy, everyone really who's really, really. Now, let's go with Dice 1. And shoutouts to Lot. I believe you made this as a custom for the round. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, this Rise 1 app is my own custom for the speed category. It's going to be Zygro's distribution made by Achillex and mapped by me. I think some of you 7K players may recognize this as the quarterfinals song choice for speed. This is a coincidence, by the way. And I mapped this and upgraded to 1.1 for the round 16 speed pick. This is going to be a quite straightforward map. It's mostly just 1-4 screens with some variances between them. And it's smooth, really smooth. Like there's barely any mini jumps in it. But the main difficulty here should be the sprawl speed itself of the map. Like, I believe this shot shoots up to 308 BPM streams. Yes, this is round of 16, and it's already this fast. I hope you guys brace yourself for future takes, and maybe this level as well.
It is indeed round of 16. And like I debated with Lot and like it's really 1.1 or 1.05, and after really testing it out, I mean yeah, sure, the accuracy isn't that high, but hey, I didn't have that much warm up playing on my replays here. And considering that I was still able to get paid, still at 99 in this, I'm pretty sure this is definitely worthy of round of 16. And yeah, those transitions with your hands certainly is not going to be friendly. And if you're not careful here, it's going to be one of the harder sections, I'd say, especially with your stamina being depleted. should be at this point. Luckily, you get Mercury.
Looks very, very, very fast. You need to be up on your toes in this chart if you want to really keep that combo and accuracy up.
What?
There we go. That's Rice too.
Rise to.
That,
I'm gonna tell my therapist on you. Ah, yes. I wonder if anyone has a therapist right now.
I don't.
Anyway, if some of you guys best wishes to you and to go soon, I suppose. But anyways, coming back to the map, this is going to be, I believe, 208 BPM dense jump stream hand streams.
Yeah, around there, 209, I think. Yeah, you'll be seeing some here. And I understand that some people might not be happy with this. This is a stamina. May not be the fastest, but the density certainly makes up for it. Why this would be a round of 16. Surprised to see a lot of when I would have on here because again the patterning is I missed ghost tap by the way.
Congratulations!
Congrats.
Yes, I was actually the one who suggested to buff the rate to 1.1 because I do believe that number one or straightforward maps should be harder in wall skew, and number two, this BPM should be reasonable for patterns of this caliber intensity.
That's true. I agree. And so maybe we can push it a little bit higher. Push it to like 1.1 and yeah, here we go. There's a reason why this is our 1.1. Honestly, it is worth it considering how difficult.
It is pretty difficult.
Yeah, the second
it's
half is just much more difficult, especially with the stamina. Yeah, and look at
these
that! Look at
trills
that
and the
sprint
split
throw.
True. Yeah.
Oh, LS, be careful with those, I guess.
I was about to say, it doesn't look too bad in the first half, but then we see the second half.
Yeah, the difficulty progression is quite insane in this one.
Yeah, like in the first half, it's just some jump streams, some hand streams, a little bit dense, but there's some breaks in between. It's cool. Then we see the second half, and there's just split trills. And oh my god, look at those trills.
Yeah, also the thing with the continuousness of this map, it just keeps you going until the song is finally over. Oh, the ending! The full
ending.
split trill!
Come on, that ending isn't that bad.
The split trill and the jump trill at the end.
It's fine, but
That
like,
ending
it
isn't
may
that bad. Come
catch
on.
people off guard a bit.
Alright,
maybe?
alright.
Mhm.
Alright, next.
Yeah.
So
Those
Rice
trills might
3.
call.
I believe this is our stamina. This replay was done by LZ Fanboy. Snow.
Mhm. There's some. If you know this series, it's Landed Midnight 3. It has some banger songs in the soundtrack. I like a lot of it. In the early versions of Langdon, a lot of it is just trance, but yeah, they have some banger songs even in the recent ones.
This song is also trance. It's just following the theme at this point, but compared to Rise 2, this map is on the lighter side of things, but it's also much longer. So, if Rise 2 is supposed to test your roll skills, no, Rise 2, right, then Rise 3 is going to test your consistency overall. And both jump stream and stream maps are the same BPM. I think. Wait, is it the same? No, this one is a bit lower, I guess.
I do think it's a bit low. You can actually look at this.
Let's
See.
Okay, Rise 2 is 209 BPM and Rise 3 is 184 BPM, so it is considerably slower actually. Please stay on my side, sorry.
I mean that's true, but stamina is gonna be the factor here. So when we say stamina, the length certainly makes up for it. Look at this, it's just continuous. here. And
For yeah, for some people it's stamina. For other people it's mostly consistency, really.
Yeah, it depends on your level of raw skill, to be honest, but I kind of expected this map to be the ACK battle in most of the matchups.
Yeah. Yeah. This kind of this kind of density and speed. Not the fastest, not the most dense. So yeah, this is looking like an ACK consistency battle here.
This map actually has zero breaks from the start of the jump stream chain to the very end. Like, it's just 2 minutes and 30 seconds of continuous jump streams, and with a progressive difficulty as well.
Well, yeah, you can see a little bit of some split trills here, some jump trills here as well. Yeah, some things to spice this map up to keep yourself on your toes. Just a solid consistency kind of jump stream map.
not consistent.
Yeah, he's already saying that he loves it, this map
Yeah,
in
I
chat.
can saw the chat right now. Yeah. Like as much as I want to. Back into-
Mm.
That's a rice sport. But I need the same error.
The map, the stream becoming a little bit scuffed here and there, but hey, we got there.
Oh yes, Meaty Jacks.
Oh well, we can already see
Jump
what's going
plus
on here.
jumps there. Okay, this is a bit of a last minute change, but we will be using Crew Case Hand for our technical pick. Compared to the upcoming mixed price, this I believe is more on the abrasive patterning side and is also more dump stream focused. And yes, these mini jacks to burst transitions are quite finger control intensive. It does feel kind of misbait, I'd say.
Looks very unfriendly for a lot of these patterns. If you mess up, it's not gonna be easy to recover here, because the kind of patterns that comes up.
Yeah, this is the most anti-ACK map of the Rice department in this map pool. Most of the map is revolved around vocal dump and rejects actually, but usually the main difficulty comes both in the accuracy challenge and the transition between those two patterns as well. Maybe also the length, but who knows? It depends on the player type again.
There's a lot of opportunities to drop here. Whether it's combo or accuracy, there's just too many of them. Like
Surprisingly, go on.
no, you go.
Surprisingly, this is actually maybe harder than the Qualifiers stage 1. Maybe. It's kinda debatable, but still, it does show how fast we are ramping up the Mappool difficulty even at the start of the Mappool series.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's warranted though, because if you're really thinking about it, like stage 1 is really a test of your accuracy fundament. I do believe this, at the very least, like the OD of this is I think 8 comparison to the previous one, which is an 8.5, and that could like make you drop some 200s very early on. So at the very least, this is a little bit more lenient. I do think though, when you actually play the file, like once you actually play the file, it might not look as hard as it is. but the consistency factor is certainly going to be a challenging one. So yeah, gotta be careful in that one.
Yeah, especially since this is early game. Um, you gotta keep yourself, you know, have you gotta have the higher combo or the higher accuracy in this early stage.
I
But
was actually not going to use this, but I remember I made an unused edit for Anti-Meta Madness, which did not have the long jack at the end. So yes, this map is a lot more unfair towards the ending at first.
yeah, some people are gonna actually ban this map.
Maybe
Hmm. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next map.
maybe they will ban this instead. Who knows? But
Who
this
knows?
is our mixed rice pick. Again, another last minute change. This was supposed to be the tech pick, but I considered this to be more easy to act because the patterns are not too volatile in the snappings. It's mostly just 1/8 and 1/4. But the transition between finger movement and jack stream motions are definitely to be careful for.
Yes, it looks. Yeah, it looks. It doesn't look as technical in comparison to the previous map. So I get what you're talking about here. Yeah, there's a lot of grace notes here, so players might drop some act here and there, some glitches, a bit of some jacks here. You can see a little bit of a bit of streams as well. It's just very mixed in these patterns.
Yeah, I think the combination of jacks and streams do make for a good compassion of Rice as a whole, like in terms of the skill sets it can represent. This is also quite a short and sweet map. I think it's less than 2 minutes, if I'm not wrong. Let me look it up again. Yes, this is 1 minute and 45 seconds long, so it shouldn't be. Consistency shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but with the short length does come with a higher
Mm,
cost of misses.
yeah, if you mess up here, it could be game changing.
Yeah, it's over, I
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah, literally. You just have to hope the your opponent messes up even worse than you did. But next map is probably
we have we will be having a change of pace with the LN Mappool coming up. This is going to be. I forgot the name. God damn it! Wait.
well, you can see it come up here.
Yes. Let me just search it up.
Okay,
Sentai
Jacket.
Tekka Damage Akiraya.
Yeah. So looking like some, you know, a lot of Ellen. Some
You guys may recognize this from Osmania LN Tournament 3 because this is featured in round of 32 as one of the LN coordination release picks. And in this map, it will be serving the same role. LN coordination release. Duh. But yes, this will be more on the consistency side as well. So you guys can see that it's quite easy on the releasing aspect, but it's more coordination heavy, and the length of 3 minutes and I believe 10 seconds? No, 2 minutes and 40 seconds still poses a challenge for finger control and mental stamina.
For some players, Ellen's this long could actually, have a lot of fatigue.
Yeah, it does tire you off sometimes because of the holding strain, but I believe the main difficulty of the long ones here will be the finger control because if you're not careful with reading them, you may release those long noodles early. Unfortunate side break, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of these, sometimes you have to let go whilst mid LN, and so these LN jacks here could actually mess you up, not only in the initial press but also the release. Sometimes some players don't have that synced up in their mental timing really.
Yeah,
That's something you have to be really careful of.
And those coordination LN maps does utilize this kind of skill hole in play as well to make patterns that kind of desyncs your hands and fingers. Maybe through releases, maybe through how the two hands aren't playing a symmetrical pattern, maybe just awkward holding in general. But yeah, this map does have a big variety of those coordination LN patterns.
Yeah, very formidable LN map, especially if you're not that great when it comes to LN. You have to be careful in that if you're not very used to uh, long LN maps.
Moving on, we'll be having LN2 Density, and this is Plum Timeline mapped by Usagi.
Mhm.
This is actually quite the nice fine for map pooling. I don't know how to describe this, but I think Usagi is not a very popular mapper, but being able to find a usable map of a mapper with no name is quite commendable on its own. And this map is a friendly density map with difficulty progression and a speed of 180 BPM. So, yeah, quite similar to the density qualifiers, I believe. It was the qualifiers one, Love Sick Cannibal, was at 188.99 BPM. Might as well round it up to 189. This one is 180, so Hollies is like 1.05 off this map, but this one is easier on the stamina side because most of the difficulty is focused here, as you can see, at the final third of the map. That's where the difficulty progression does show here.
Yeah, if you miss if you miss before this point, you are at a pretty big disadvantage here. But it's all on to this part, this last 1/3 of the map.
I believe this part, the denser ones usually pose a higher danger when you actually miss because column lock and
Oh,
the likes, yeah, those are nasty. I
it
swear to
is
God.
it is gonna be nasty if you actually get column locked because it's hard to recover from that.
hmm But yes, maybe 180 or even 190 BPM is not enough for you. This wildcard LN map will satisfy your hunger for speed. It is going to be Crack Clacks by Light Show Magic, not by Mint. 220 BPM of LN speed. This surely will be enough if you are still thirsty for some speed at this point in LN pool.
Yeah, but right now it is definitely very fast. A lot of these, you can see a little bit of some streams, some orange streams right here. You gotta be. It's not. Those are not too hard, I would say. Considering the,
I think this map is made to be very intuitive because yes, Mint. She
Yeah.
makes really good and clean maps. This map is no exception. The movement is really well guided, so I would say you don't have to worry about choking because of the lack of finger control, but I would say you may struggle to add to this. Maybe the only 7.1 does help somehow, but overall, this with how volatile the patterns are and the amount of transitions between the LN and yeah,
it looks a lot smoother than a lot of these, speed LN charts.
this is arguably harder on the Rolskis side because of how LN1 is more the has a more consistency focus, and how LN2 is kind of spiky. This is more constant overall, so maybe this is a bit heavier on the stamina side.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's very dense, so you gotta be careful of that. Just a lot of different volatile patterns that could catch you off guard, and you could drop a few accuracies here and there because of those
Yeah,
patterns.
yeah. Well, if you're bored of plain rice or plain noodles, the next maps may be for you. The hybrid departure coming up right now. Starting off with hybrid 1, this is going to be the Jack focused hybrid, and here we are with Meteor Meteor Fiance Gadget Mix mapped by Phoenix. I believe this is also a rarer map per horde, so props to whoever pulled this. I believe it was No. I don't know.
And you can see those a little bit of those jacks, a few of grace notes as well. Not
Jackie Trouble.
if you don't like jacks, this is not the map for you. It's very jack heavy, in fact, and those are they will not let you up on these mini jacks. Like they could ruin your accuracy if you're not ready for them.
This map, I believe, is on the ricier side of things, mostly because of the Jack focus. And while this is it's true that Rice players have a better advantage. The LNs that comes along with those Jacks will pose an accuracy challenge if you are a Rice one trick. And in that case, players may take the win. Maybe.
You need to be a little bit coordinated when it comes to mixing jacks and LN.
Yes. And this type of jack is also not friendly to play either because it's not continuous. It's broken in many small segments, and it also comes in the form of shields, so you still have to hold it on after that. In the unlikely scenario that you release your fingers too early, then you will miss on those LNs. In which case, unfortunate. Womp womp.
There's a lot of. There's just so many jacks, and we already saw, but like.
Wait,
we saw a
stop?
little bit,
That inner column jack, that was a jump scare.
yeah, there's two hand jacks. Like, what is that?
Yes, so if the Rice department did not cover core jacks well, this map might be it for you guys.
I agree. And like honestly, shout outs to Arj by the way for being able to full combo this very difficult file.
It is.
Moving on, let's go for hybrid 2 then. Come on, I can't keep.
Not again.
This is the third time this has happened.
I,
Okay, there we go.
I think this is hybrid 3.
No, this is hybrid. Wait, really?
This is hybrid 3.
Okay,
This is
this-
hybrid 2.
Okay, this.
Oh.
Okay. This is hybrid
Okay.
too. So we kind of
We have a custom.
it's okay. Let's go with this one, alright? So what happened was I named the hybrid 2 replay hybrid 3 and I named the hybrid 3 replay hybrid 2.
nice.
It's okay. It's okay.
Congratulations.
Shoutouts to
Okay,
Raisin, by
I
the
guess
way.
you guys know hybrid 3 already, so oh well.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, they don't know the map yet, so that's all that matters, right?
No, probably.
Here's the thing though, shoutouts to Raisin because Raisin has made this as custom, and it's definitely a really fun chart. Am I right?
Yeah. Anyways, I edited this a bit to fit the category more and maybe to provide more contrast to the hybrid 4 as well. So this is going to be the streamy hybrid. The design of this hybrid is to make it flowy while still being somewhat hackable. So as you guys can see, this map consists of mostly 1-4 and 1-8 patterns. So there's the issue of transitioning between different directions of movements, but at the same time it's not that terrible to act. It's mostly just burst and LN density patterns. Maybe a bit heavy on the raw skill and theoretical side of things though, especially towards the ending.
Yeah, this map is very streamy, as you can see. Like, there's some jump streams in it as well, and a lot of bursts. There's some, some split throws involved in as well. Kind of mixed when it comes to the patterning.
The first half has showcased the rice side of this map, so I'll let the second half do the LN exhibitioning, I guess. Yeah. You could say the... Go on.
Well, you can, you start, because I don't know much.
I guess you could say that this map also has this theme of transitioning from rice to LN. And because the first half also has some LN going along with rice, this could maybe be more LN biased, which balances out hybrid 1 quite well.
Yeah, it's half, half rise, half LN. Literally.
Somewhat.
Yeah. The first half is basically kind of hybrid, and the other half is LN.
Yeah, but the first half also has a bit of LN in it, but moving on. Hybrid 3!
The real
Tech-focused
hybrid 3. The real hybrid 3.
Alright.
Yes. Whiplash by Funk. You may know this mapper. He's quite the appearance in many tournaments. I think he started off with OMLN3 and then 4DM23 and then MWC. Since then, he just keeps growing in many facets, and we decided to use one of his maps for this Mappool.
Start not looking very friendly when it comes to accuracy.
Maybe not anymore. We got some schlongs here, which may be an act proper early on.
Yeah.
Well, it's not too tricky yet. The main difficulty comes from the choruses, which will come up soon. This is just a build up. Just wait a little bit.
Just a bit of a warm up here.
Okay, here's where it comes up. The start off pattern, mini jacks, and first, I guess they are kind of racy.
Very
They're not
crazy.
too long. They're kind of just 3 notes. uh, 3 to 5 notes, so it's like not too dense on the raw skill side, but more in the finger control and transition part of things.
Yeah. A lot of these, these bursty LM parts could put your accuracy pretty down.
Yeah, I would say this is the most anti-accuracy map of the whole map pool. The race tech maps are not too bad, and the LNs are quite easy on the technical side of things, but this map will cover every aspect of early game tech just right for you guys to suffer on.
Those short LMs, very short, and if you're not used to that kind of short LM, you could mess up the accuracy. And maybe you could release a bit too early or too late.
I don't think you could release those short echelons too early. At most, you get a 200 because of the late releasing. But yes, second course coming, more LN Graces. Oh, the fast releases. They're going to kill your act.
Yeah, it's so bursty here.
That's true as well. The Rise Burst got much denser here compared to the first course.
You gotta release those LNs like at a specific timing, or else your act is gonna be even at a worse. You're gonna be at a worse spot with if you don't do that correctly.
That's the yeah. This map does give you a lot of trouble if you.
You got it's not physically demanding. It's just very very technical, very bursty, like spikes of difficulty in terms of keeping your accuracy. Like this could give you a lot of trouble.
And let's conclude our map showcase with that one map. Insert tiebreaker copy pasta here.
Oh, I don't know the copy pasta, so I can't.
Actually, we will be using reverse. This is a Camellia song. Oh yeah, of course.
Mapped by Imperial Trinity, as I saw.
I just call him Trinity Imperial to be honest. But yes. Another difficulty of this map was used as the MCL 23 finals tiebreaker, but this is the release difficulty, which is a lot more technical. But it's a reasonable amount of tech because there are also other skill sets included as well, like streams, jacks, and maybe a bit of LM control. It's just that tech and it encompasses everything, so you would prefer a tech tiebreaker than a generic tiebreaker.
Yeah. So you can see a little bit of jack. There's some jump tracks in these parts, but it's mostly mini jacks here with LM. A bit of a flashback to the first tiebreaker part.
Yeah, and those weird LM releases and inverses also throwbacks to the hybrid 3 pick as well.
Yeah, just so much things going on, and it looks like we're seeing the rice part here.
Yeah, those feels like hybrid 2.
It's not very uniform, the screens here. It sometimes goes to the left, sometimes it goes to the right. And then we're gonna be in a little bit of a break part until we get into this LM density. here.
Yeah, not a very long break. Oh, and you get those kind of like chord
Ooh,
jacks, but
the quads coming in.
yeah, and they come along with schlongs, so
Yeah.
it's hard to like not
So good.
choke.
Those are very dense.
Yeah,
Like, my goodness. And
it's over a bit, but there's still coordination here. You can still miss. The replayer just missed. You shouldn't.
well, if you miss on those weird quads that happened, don't worry. It's still one half of the map. It's not ideal that you should miss on the half of the map, but you should not be too worried. As long as you keep the combo, it should be fine. It's a bit of a coordination around here. Not too difficult compared to what we've seen so far. And now we're looking at
that pattern.
two-hand trill with islands on the side.
I think that is like the nastiest hybrid pattern.
Yeah, we're gonna see
The whole map,
some
honestly.
streams with a little bit of burst. Yeah. It's very... Oh, it speeds up there.
Oh, and you get those releases. And inverses, tight inverses, again, everything just kind of comes into one at this final section.
Just a mix of a lot of different skill sets here.
Oh yes, finally the map is ending, but not before throwing in some shield.
So many shields. A
It
lot
is-
of LM players hate those.
Wait for it. I think there's still something at the end. Okay, never mind. I thought there was something.
Oh. Oh,
At least there are
there's
no
gonna be like
trolls.
there's gonna be like a jump trail at the end or something.
I thought it was gonna
I
be like
sure hope
some.
not, but it's over finally.
or a one-hand trill. I mean, no, two-hand trill. It's gonna be the worst thing that could happen.
True.
All right, so that's the 4-key side on the Mappool showcase.
And honestly, that already is covering everything. Honestly, the qualifiers and the maps on both difficult and definitely are not going.
Yeah, some people are asking like, are these round of 16 charts? Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Oh,
it is
right.
round 16. Cope with it.
Shoutouts as well to. Honestly, very happy with how many people.
Yeah, we did. We
Yeah.
did. We did.
A
Yeah.
lot
Honestly,
of yeah. A lot of players would either be watching the VOD or they would just download the map pool and look at it for themselves. So we're kind of grateful for you to keep watching up until the end, really.
Yeah. Well, before we end all the proceedings, just a few announcements. The map pools have been posted on the master sheet and the Mappool feed as well as the Discord server. Match schedules, matchups and match schedules will be posted on the master sheet within the next 36 hours. Please bear with us as we're still trying to iron out a few more details. And again, congratulations to all 32. Well, were there any players that like all 16 players who qualified
Yeah.
for the 4K bracket, all 16 players who qualified for the 7K
Yeah, yeah.
bracket? I'm not sure if
I think-
I'm not sure if there's like an overlap between
No.
the two.
there wasn't an overlap. Sani was the closest
Oh.
for an overlap.
So
And-
literally 32 players. So yeah,
Yes. Honestly,
congratulations.
yeah, go ahead.
Congratulations to all of you guys, and I hope that the past few, I hope the qualifiers weekend was fun for all of you guys, and I hope you guys will also have fun with the round of 16 pools. And in behalf of the Mappool team, again, thank you guys so much for watching the Mappool showcase tonight. And
Yep.
it's already almost 1 a.m.
Yeah,
boy.
we're gonna have to wrap this up. Thank you for watching the Mania 2024 iteration of OS Philippines Nationals. it's almost 1 a.m. We're kind of, if you're like in mainland, if you're in the Philippines, it's pretty late. If you're not from the Philippines, you know, have a good day.
And again, thank you so much to everyone. Because honestly, seeing everyone good enough to watch this alongside with everyone else, with their efforts, just makes me so happy. But at the end of the day, to those who qualified, congratulations to you, and to those who very close to, or in general, just did not make qualifying 16. Don't be discouraged yet. I mean, number one, the fact that there's only 16 that's gonna be able to qualify is already a very different standard on its own. And number two, you're basically against some of the best competition here in the country. So even if you don't qualify, know what's gonna be next year, and who knows? Definitely, you might have a chance.
Final point. Final point for anyone who hasn't qualified. There's more Mania tournaments to come. There's gonna be some some what's it, 5-digit tournaments if you wanna participate in those. If you want an easier time qualifying in them, you're gonna be meeting a lot of people in them as well. That's the fun part about tournaments, really. The
And I don't
socializing part, really.
I don't really have much to say.
All right.
All right, so that is the OSU Philippines Nationals 2024 OSU Mini 4K7K Tournament qualifier results reveal and round 16 Mappool showcase. And in behalf of the entire commentary team who has taken part of the stream tonight, we hope to see you guys next week for the actual matches.
Bye, guys.
I'll see you there just to have fun on my maps.